Hello everyone and welcome back to CookieRun Grand Champions League with Alzeroy. Yes, you heard that right. I'm joining the hardest competition in this entire game. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, it is my time to say like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. But that's not to be the case because Grand Championship League content is quite rare at the moment. Because judging by the current schedule of Grand Championship League, at least by the time I record this video, it took us 7.5 months to get another Grand Championship League content. So yeah, it will take a while to get another Grand Championship League content out there to this channel because simply the event can only happen, I guess, between 6 or 7 months right now. And I really do hope that it stays that way. So the last time Grand Championship League actually did happen, it was during the Desert Paradise update, and I've actually made a video about it. Then the link will be available for you to watch at the top right of the screen. And if you would like to see even more videos from this channel, then be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so you won't miss out anything that I put on this channel. Everything is free, you don't need to pay, and by subscribing you make this channel grow and flourish even more, which makes me happy so I can create more content for you to watch. So I've actually joined Grand Champions League for the very first time since the Candlelight season. That's a long time ago, actually. That's a very long time ago. I think the first time I did it, it was in 2022, back when I've already played the game for some time. And this is currently the 5th attempt that I did in this competition in order to win. Although the chance of me winning this thing is pretty small considering there are lots of players who are certainly better than me. And currently I'm testing the format of this video. So should I release the round video for every time the round change, or should I keep this format, which is I played the Grand Championship League all the way until I got myself eliminated, and then I post the video of the journey, just like, oh, there's a mistake right there, that's a sheer mistake. I do not want to get that ever again. So let's hope that I don't crash into any more obstacles. So yeah, where was I? Oh yes, the video format of this particular kind of video. So I will repeat the question to you, just in case that you forgot somehow. Anyway, should I keep this format of me playing Grand Championship League all the way until I got myself eliminated, or should I release every attempt that I did each round? And considering the fact that a round in Grand Champions League takes some time, and by the time I upload my attempt, I will most likely to do better, so there's a risk in that. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comment section down below, and I will also make the polling in the community tab maybe tomorrow, I guess. And by the time you watch this video, most likely the polling is already up, so cast your votes there, folks. And so far I've actually didn't explain this particular run, how rude of me. Anyway, what you see right here, this is the preliminary rounds. This is where the game decides that if you are making it into the Grand Championship League or not. Most likely people actually did manage to go into the main round, simply for the fact that you start with 6 hearts, and even if you didn't play this particular round, you will lose 5 hearts instead of 6, which is all of them. But certainly in this competition you want to conserve how many of those hearts are, because it's very important to keep the hearts alive and not breaking it in half. Anyway, if you would like to see my other runs in this particular Grand Championship League, then you could simply use the timestamp in the description down below. Anyway, that's the end of the run in the preliminary round. I managed to put myself in 2nd place, which means that I still kept my 6 hearts alive. So yeah, with that result, I managed to get myself into the main rounds of the Grand Champions League. And it's at this point right here where I just realized that you must not be at last place in order to not lose 5 of your hearts. I thought it can only happen when you didn't run. So yeah, apologies for that. So yeah, I'm advancing into the main round. So currently this is round 1 out of round 3. So yeah, now let's move on into the result of this particular round 1 main round. So now I'm continuing on after 35.5 hours since the round starts. I wonder why it is not 36 hours. And I ended up in second place once again, but unfortunately, in order to keep the heart at 6 hearts, you have to, win the round instead of being in second place. I guess this is the effect of people complaining that in the previous Grand Championship League there are way too many preliminary rounds, and that is decreasing the tension apparently for some reason. While yeah, I do agree the fact that having too many preliminary rounds. I remember the previous version, the CROB season, have 3 preliminary rounds, and that basically takes away all of the tensions. I have to admit that. But having the timer set at 35.5 hours and instead of 36 hours, that is just a weird choice. What a weird choice. Can someone explain in the comment section down below? Is there any reason of that? Anyway, this is the run that I will say that I regret this run so hard because I only run I think like 5 times in this particular main round 2, whereas top players in this particular stage managed to score I think around 980 million points, which is very far from my best effort, which is this one. I only ended up at 920 something million points, which is a shame, but to be fair, I only run at this particular main round 2 like 5 times because I was actually on a vacation, so I can't stay at this game online for way too long. And looking back, this is probably my biggest ever chance in this particular Grand Championship League Lemon season, where I can extend my heart from 6 to 7. Everything now is in the past, and what can I say, but let's just do better in the next round or even in the next GCL, because by the time I record this video I've already been eliminated, and I think right now the finals is already on the way, or at the very least the last round of the semifinals, because well, I didn't know the schedule anymore since I've already been eliminated, like I said. But yeah, I've got nothing to say at the moment, so I'll see you in the next main round, and that will be the main round 2 in this Grand Championship League Lemon season. And with that slightly disappointing result out of the way, now it's time to move on into the main round, round 2. And comparing to all the rounds that I did in this particular Grand Champions League, I enjoyed this particular round the most. And to explain why I like this round the most compared to any of the Grand Champions League round, I will explain in a bit when we are exploring the run itself, my best ever result in this particular round. So yeah, after 35.5 hours of attempting this particular round, I shall explain why I like this round the most. So this round has one very simple rule of jump 300. So what that meant is I can only press the jump button 300 times, and once that is done, the game simply locks the ability to jump, so I cannot jump for the rest of the run. This rule reminds me of one of the rounds in the Black Garlic season in the Grand Champions League, where the rule is basically exactly the same. I can only jump 300 times, but back then it was much harder because the stage that I was put in was in the Black Garlic Cookies trial, which was a severe case of pain because in that particular stage there are lots, and I mean lots and lots of obstacles that I need to avoid. Oh yeah, I just remember what round was it in the Black Garlic season. It was the very first round. There were no main rounds or pre-eliminary rounds that we have right now, so it was simply going straight into round 1. I'm pretty sure that the first cookie that you need to use is Black Garlic Cookie, for the simple case that Black Garlic was instantly used, and that was during the time where Black Garlic was introduced into the game, and it goes straight into round 1, which caused some people to go a little bit upset. And while we are talking about the Black Garlic season, I remember that the very first cookie that we need to use is Blackberry Cookie, and the second one that we use as the relay cookie is the Black Garlic Cookie. And last but not least, I still remember the fact that I almost got eliminated back then because at the time I just don't have any more resources to level up a Blackberry Cookie, because Black Garlic Cookie was the cookie that was being released and held much more important role in terms of, I need to unlock the cookie trials first, and then I need to find a way to level up the new buffed up Blackberry Cookie, which at the time I just don't have the resources, and somehow I managed to pass, and I remember I ended up in 8th place, which is like the last place, and any lower than that, then I will get myself eliminated right in the first round, which would be really embarrassing. But anyway, that is the end of the narration part, at least for now. So I will see you in the next part of the video, which is the main round, round 3. as you can see, once I reach 300 jumps, the game will simply disable the jump button. Righty then, main round, round 2, after 35.5 hours of struggling. How many times I say that in this video? Look at it, there are so many people who didn't run, simply either they didn't know the time limit is so much less compared to the previous season, which is the CROB season. And just for a little bit of context, in CROB season we are given, if I'm not mistaken, I think like 3 days to do a run in the rounds that we are competing back then. And obviously it got reduced as we go on into the more advanced round. I think we are given, I think 2 days if I'm not mistaken. I really do forgot. If someone out there do manage to remember how long the round will take in the CROB season, please let me know in the comment section down below. But now let's take a look at the results screen in this particular round. So yeah, now here's the result of my best ever run in this particular stage. And out of all the stages that Devsisters give us in this particular Grand Championship League, this one is the one that brings me pain the most, because it's the one where they combine all of the final stages in the breakout mode into one single stages, just like the one that I used to see Sinister Fells used to run back in the day. And oh boy, oh boy, this one is such a pain. Oh my god. Doing this run alone in the creepy kitchen is already hard enough. Then doing other final stages in the breakout mode and then combining it into one singular map without any kind of collision nor falling. Yeah, then you are a definite champion in the making. I'm still remembering the days, as I said back then, when Sinister felt when he used to play this game. This stages goes from Creepy Kitchen right here to Sugar Tiara, and then it goes to Sense of Yoguka. So I really do hope that the stages go exactly the same way, because at least I have some guidance where the obstacles are, so I can simply avoid it, and also where the holes are, so I cannot fall into the abyss down below. Yeah, this stage is definitely the stages where it separates between the good players and the great players out there. Oh, we go into the Cursed Throne, which is the final stage map on the City of the Millennial Tree breakout map. I still remember when I create a video of this game, video of CookieRun, for the very first time I ran at this particular breakout map, and I couldn't manage to show you the final stage, which is this one, simply because I was very low level back then, and the best thing that I could do was at stage 9, so the stages before this one. And it took me an entire year, if I'm not mistaken, to finally show you what the final stage looks like, which is this one. And that's for the simple fact is this map is no longer in the game back then. And it took me an entire year and a brand new game mode called Random Breakout Challenge to finally I can show you this particular side of the map. And even to this day, as I still speak right now, as in May of 2024, Devsisters haven't introduced the City of the Millennial Tree breakout map back into the game, unless if it was a random breakout challenge. And speaking of Sense of Yoguka, it turns out that I haven't uploaded any kind of videos in the breakout section for the last 2 years. And it's not like I didn't do any run in Sense of Yoguka. Far from it, I actually did a Sense of Yoguka breakout mode run, just like any usual breakout map. I did it once every week. But it just the way that Devsisters rotates the map currently, it makes this map is not favorable right now. I think the last time Sense of Yoguka is on the map, I think it's like 5 or 6 months ago. And this section right here killed almost every attempt that I did on this run. Oh my god, this missiles creature thingy, oh my god, this was a massive pain, and I could have gotten so much more points if I didn't screw this part up so hard. Oh, we go to Clockwork Tower. This is brand new. I'm not quite sure that when I saw Sinister Falk's video about the Grand Champions run when he does it, I don't think that he get to this point, or did he? I'm not quite sure. And as I want to look for the answer, I go back to look at his channel, and it turns out that he made most of his videos hidden, I guess. Oh, so too bad that I couldn't look the answer, but I'm pretty sure that he did manage to get into this point because he was a really good player, and we in the Indonesian community of CookieRunOvenBreak simply miss him because it's almost a year since he decided to retire from the game. And when I played this game for the very first time since I came out from the 4-year break, he was the one that I looked into. Like, he was one of, if not the very best player that I ever seen playing this game, at least in the Indonesian community, and we do miss him. So yeah, now let's see the biggest heartbreak in this particular video. Right, main round, round 3 is finished, and if we take a look at the results, I came in 5th, which means that I lose 2 hearts, which is very, very bad. Well, at least the good news is I managed to get into the semifinals, which means that I can actually bought out Lemon Cookie's Grand Champions League costume, which means that my goal is completed. I got the costume, and basically getting the Courier's Rainbow mine key and also the pet costume is just an option at this point. But I still do want to compete to be, you know, going as far as I can before my inevitable elimination. But yeah, now it's time to compete in the semifinals. So, after competing for 35.5 hours, here's the result. Too bad that I don't make it into the top 3. So close, but yet so far. Just look at the difference in the scoring between me and the 3rd place person. Look at that, I only have 1 heart left, which means that in the next round of round 2 semifinals, I have to win, no matter what. I have to win in order to keep my hope alive and to reach the finals, which is the same feat that I did back in the CROB season. And if you would like to see my attempt to reach the finals in the CookieRun season, then the video link will be available for you at the top right of the screen. For now, enjoy the run because the narration part ends right here. But you know what is the saddest thing? Even if I did actually get into 3rd place, I still lose 2 of my 3 hearts. Which means that I should have finished at least in 2nd or even 1st place. And not at 3rd place or even 4th place or even lower than that. So yeah, now the first step that I always do on Grand Champions League is take a look at which competitors that I'm competing against. Maybe I know someone who's on my friends list, and let's take a look. And no, I know absolutely no one in this particular list. But that doesn't mean I can simply underestimate each and every last one of them. No. No. It's so close, but then yet it's so very far away. What a way to end this particular journey. What a heartbreak. No. This means that I will not be able to get a Lemon Cookie's pet costume that is specifically designed for this competition. This means that I achieved the same thing as I did back in Hydrangea season, when I got the costume for Hydrangea Cookie but not for the pet. Well then, enjoy this run and I'll see you when this run ends. Did I mention the fact that I got this particular score 30 minutes before the timer runs out? When I get this particular score, my mind would just like, maybe I could find 10 million points in just 30 minutes. Alas, but that was not meant to be. I did some more runs within the last 30 minutes, but I couldn't manage to get to 890 million points. So Yeah, this is just a massive heartbreak for me. Look at that one heart door shattered into millions upon millions of pieces. And I would like to say thank you to everyone who supported me and give me cheer points to be able to play in this competition, and also to you, the viewers who managed to get into this far. And last but not least, shout out to everyone in the CookieRunOvenBreak Indonesian community, who you guys are awesome if you are managed to make it this far, and hopefully the crown of Grand Champions League shall be back in our hands once again. With that out of the way, there is one more thing that I would like to see if this is possible or not. So I'm going to put a little bit of context here. So when you are already being eliminated from the Grand Champions League competition, you can actually still play the next stages, although your score will not be counted to the actual scoring because you have been eliminated. And I would like to see if Devsisters did keep this feature in, because it will be a crying shame if they don't, because at least it gives us some experience into what really good players, the top 1%, are competing against each other. What kind of stage it will be. It will be really a very tough and very intensive stage, but at least we can actually train ourselves and without any kind of worry in our scores. Also, if I hadn't been eliminated from this competition because of this stage, the next stage will definitely will, because it's the one with Ananas Dragon Cookie and Milk Cookie in the tropical soda islands, and the stage is like unbelievably tough. You need to have a very agile hands, and something that I certainly for most of the CookieRun players didn't have. And the most important thing, excellent reflexes. So yeah, now I'm just going to cut this run and let's see if Devsisters keeps the feature that I mentioned earlier in the game or not. Now time for the truth, and let's see. Oh no, they did remove that. They did remove the feature. Oh my god, no, I can only spectate from now on. And with that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. I'm Alzeroy signing it off, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.